Hey there, welcome to my channel. This is Rashida Silvertree. And I want to add something to the forgiveness series here. Something that really spoke to me in the chapter 17 on how to use your subconscious mind to forgive or for forgiveness. It's part of the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joseph Murphy. And something I really want to point out with forgiveness is this. One of the, highlights of this section is this. I'm going to read this to you. 7. God or life never punishes. People punish themselves by their false concepts of God, life, and the universe. Their thoughts are creative and they create their own misery. God or life never punishes. Do you understand how powerful this reflection is? How often do you count? Probably you can't count. How often do you find yourself blaming God or thinking that God is punishing you or life is punishing you because things aren't going your way, because someone has harmed you, because you've been harmed mentally, spiritually, physically, sexually, financially, through your job. A lot of us think that we're being punished, and it's only us that chooses that. It's people punish themselves by their false concepts of God, life, and the universe. So if you have a specific way of thinking or the definition of what God is, oh, I believe in a fearful, angry God, a jealous God. Or life, you just get what you get what you deserve. The universe, what universe? Limited perception can really screw things up for you. This deals with universal law and becoming more in harmony of it. And I kid you not, no God, no loving God anyway, would want you to suffer if you do believe in a God or goddess, okay? I know people of the book, the religious group, okay, Muslims, Jews, and Christians. People of the book tend to have a very, very, I would say, limited concept of God. It's a very angry God, very vengeful God, very violent God. Just like in Greek mythology, you have angry gods and goddesses, that retaliate in a very angry way. And I think it's a limited aspect of consciousness. It's an aspect of a person to be angry. That's not the whole person, is it? You mean to tell me that God is just one angry thing? One angry emotional experience? We're multiple of things. We're loving. We're kind. We're peaceful. We're determined. Yes, we can be sad and angry and rageful and vengeful and jealous. But it's all part of an experience. And our own definition of God, I think we really need to take a look at it. Like, I know, and it's a hard thing when you've been indoctrinated through the holy book. It's a hard thing. They drill it into our head. The Holy Quran, the Torah, the Bible is the word of God. And the word shall never be challenged. And if challenged, you are in cohorts with the devil. And you're going to go to hell. How dare you question God's authority? Number one, anything that's written by a man, anything like this that's written by a man, you should always question, and woman, you should always question it. Anything written by a human hand, because it can be manipulated, it can be sabotaged, it could be misinterpreted. There's too many rooms for error. So really knowing and defining what God is to you can also define how you view punishment. If you worship, I said worship because that's what it is. If you worship a punishable God, then you're going to end up punishing yourself. No? Nothing in life is out to get you. There's no one out coming out of the woodworks to come get you. Don't give away your power so much. And what is the concept of life? These are very big questions. I never knew. People punish themselves by their false concepts of God, life, and the universe. Then what are the concepts of life and what are the concepts of the universe? Their thoughts are creative and they create their own misery. I can't answer that question. What are the concepts of God and concepts of life and the universe? I don't know. That's something that's going to be ongoing, I think, as I study this chapter. But the last part is their thoughts are creative and they create their own misery. People punish themselves by their false concepts of God, life, and the universe. Their thoughts are creative and they create their own misery. We're meant to co-create with God. God has made us in his image, right? Which I don't believe. I'm sorry, I don't. I believe in something else. I gotta go but beyond that limited perception. I'm so sorry, but it's their thoughts are creative. So we're meant to be co-creators of God. We're meant to be co-creators of life, and we're meant to be co-creators of the universe. Is the universe full of misery? Is life full of misery? Is God full of misery? We have to be very careful with what we're creating due to the limited perception of what God, life, and the universe is. This all boils down to punishments. And how is punishment tied to forgiveness? And I hope I'm not all over the board here, but it's like when we're unable to forgive, we're punishing ourselves. We're putting ourselves in a prison. We're not liberated. You think which righteous anger is a thing, I get it. Your feelings are valid. The emotions that bubble up after being wronged are valid. All of that's valid, but none of that's liberating you. All of that needs to come out. It needs to be processed. You don't want that anger, that fire energy to stay within the body, and then it inflames your body. It raises your your blood pressure. It raises your pulse. You develop inflammatory issues within the body and dis-eases and imbalances because you are holding on to resentment and rage and anger for long periods of time. So don't punish yourself because you can't forgive someone or you can't forgive something. It's a real practice, because some acts that are done upon humans, upon me, upon you, upon your community, upon people that you love, strangers that you don't even know, but you have a humane connection to them, human to human, so you feel empathy for what someone's going through. Like, don't trap yourself. Liberate yourself. Do not punish yourself because someone has done you wrong. A lot of the acts you may feel that they're unforgivable. Be very careful with that word. Unable to forgive. You're unable to forgive. Yeah, I said it. I'm not talking about the person who did the act. I'm saying the person who was wronged is unable to forgive. When they say that's unforgivable, you're unforgivable. No, they're speaking to themselves. They're unable to forgive, to release themselves from the experience. It's very, very challenging practice because some acts are really downright evil. They lack all consciousness. They lack all understanding, understanding. They lack any and all love. No compassion. All of it. It's void of all the good things. How can one forgive rape? How can one forgive molestation? How can one forgive incest? How can one forgive drug abuse and being emotionally abandoned by parents that they never knew or never met? How can one forgive war? How can one forgive destruction? How can one forgive our governments and our politicians who use us and who oppress us? War crimes. It's an individual choice one must make. And most people will literally label that forgiveness as being weak. That's the saddest part. That's why you don't usually see 6 billion views on how to forgive. Not really. So just some food for thought and some just insight on, you know, you got to be careful. Don't punish yourself by not forgiving. Don't do it. Expand your understanding of concepts of God, life, and universe. What does that mean for you? What is your relationship to God, life, and universe? And what are you doing as a co-creator? Are you co-creating your own misery through punishing yourself because you're unable to forgive someone that's wronged you? Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Rashida Silvertree, and expand your consciousness, evolve your human being, and embrace supreme love and guidance. Take care.